board on computer. All right. So Missy Franklin is a 5-time Olympic gold medalist and multiple world record holder. At the 2000 Olympic Games, she won 4 gold medals, 1 bronze, and became one of the most decorated athletes of the 2012 Games. Missy won gold in the 100 back, the 200 back, the 800 free relay, the 400 medley relay, and won bronze in the 400 free relay. Her performance in the 200 backstroke, which I sent out to some people just earlier today, which was an amazing race. She broke the world record and also marked the first time that an American won the event in 40 years, which is just amazing. And it still gives me chills. She followed her Olympic success by winning 6 gold medals at the 2013 FINA World Championships in Barcelona and becoming the most decorated female swimmer in history at a single World Championships. At 2015 in Kazan, Missy made history again, becoming the first woman to win 11 World Championship titles. Pretty amazing. While swimming at Cal Berkeley, Missy earned 4 individual NCAA titles and helped them win the 2015 national team title. She turned pro after 2 years and signed with Speedo, and that's one of the main reasons she's here today. So yeah, and
repping the fam.
That's right. We are a Speedo team, and have been since 2003 when we started. So we're excited to have you. And then in 2016, she earned her 5th Olympic gold medal as part of the 800 freestyle relay team. I've gotten to know her coach, Coach Todd Schmidt, the last couple years, and he's been real helpful with some of my athletes. And
Good.
So we've got kind of an indirect connection, but either way, we're excited to hear you talk and excited to have you.
Oh, thank you so much, Coach Ken. It's always so weird for me hearing the list of accolades because I don't even remember half of them. So you're saying that I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. That was kind of cool. But thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction. And hi to everyone. Thank you for spending part of your Friday with me. I know that it's a Friday afternoon. We're all so excited for the weekend, but it means a lot for me to be here today talking with you guys. So I'm really grateful for Speedo for giving me the opportunity. And ultimately, this is about you guys. Like, I want you walking away from today really feeling like you've learned something and that you have tools to work to be a better athlete, a better person. So I'm going to talk for about 20-ish minutes. And then after that, we're just going to do a Q&A. And that's always my favorite part because I love that kind of interaction with you guys. And I know it's not exactly face-to-face, but it's as close as we can get right now. So kind of as I'm talking, if you guys have any questions at all, whether it's related to what I'm talking about or if I don't hit on something that you want me to talk about at the end, please just write those down and Coach Ken and I will kind of do that Q&A at the end. So think about that as we're getting started. But there are just 3 things that I want to touch on today with you guys. And a lot of it has to do with what can we do right now while we're out of the water. And I know at this point, you guys have probably gotten a ton of information. So I'm sorry if any of it sounds like a broken record. Hopefully it doesn't. But please hang with me. I'll try and make it fun and entertaining for you guys. But the first thing I really want to talk about is adaptability, right? So we're in a time where we can't control a lot. There is a very different environment and atmosphere, not only in our life, but literally in the world than what we're used to. And I think it's really beautiful because as athletes, we actually have already kind of this innate knowledge of how to deal with being adaptable, with being coachable, with really just kind of rolling with the punches and still doing our best. So when it comes to being adaptable, the thing I really want you guys to be thinking about is you can only control the things that you can control. And right now, that list is pretty small. It's definitely smaller than what we're used to. But there are still things that you can be controlling right now. And I think the main things we can be working on is getting back to the basics. So my husband says this so well. He always says being brilliant at the basics. And whether you have been swimming for 5 years, whether you've been swimming your whole life, whether you are an age group club swimmer or an Olympic athlete, you have to learn to be brilliant at the basics as soon as you possibly can. Because when you have that foundation of being incredible at the small little things, then those big things, those achievements, those goals, you are going to be able to build upon an unbelievable foundation that you've built for yourself. So a couple of basics that we can all be working on to be brilliant at right now that are going to help so much when it's time to get back into the water is, they're not always fun, so I'm sorry, but adhering to a regular sleep schedule. You guys, I know that especially not having to wake up for early morning practice, or maybe being able to stay up a little bit later, taking naps during the day. Oh, sorry, I can't get the door right now. I hope it's not important. It can wait. I don't know who it is. It's going to be fine. But adhering to that sleep schedule, you guys. So when it does come time to get back into the water, your first morning practice is not going to be absolutely miserable because you're waking up at 5 and you've been sleeping in until 8 or 9 every single day. And so along with adhering to that sleep schedule is maintaining a regular exercise routine. And I know you guys have heard it so many times about staying in shape, continuing to work out, all of that. But when I talk about maintaining a regular exercise routine, I specifically mean work out at the times when you will be working out when it's time to get back into the water. Or if you don't know that yet, when you were working out before all of this happened. So if your practices are normally from 4 to 6 in the evening, that's when you should be trying to move your body, because our body adapts to what we're doing during the day. So if our body is used to working out at 4 p.m., then we're energized, we're ready to go, our adrenaline can start pumping. If you guys have been taking 4 p.m. naps every single day and you go to get back into workout at 4 p.m., your body is going to be so thrown off because it's not used to working hard at that point. It's used to resting. And so if you can try and get into a sleep schedule and a workout schedule that's going to mimic what your schedule is going to look like or what it did before all of this started, you're already going to be 10 steps ahead of the game because your body is going to be prepared for practice, for waking up whenever you need to, so that when it comes time to jump in the water, you guys are ready to go. The other basic is sticking to a really good nutrition plan. You guys, if you don't have a nutrition plan right now, or that's not a big part of your training, it is a huge part of your training, whether you realize it or not. And now is the perfect time to really just take some time each day to go on the internet, to look up really credible dietitians, sports nutritionists, and read about the best things to be putting in your body. Oh goodness. Okay. Okay. I kind of feel like it's fine. It's fine. I hope they leave a note. But it's so important that we are fueling our body for what we're going through, right? So when we're working out really hard, our body needs more fuel. It needs more protein to repair our muscles. It needs more carbohydrates to keep up our energy. When we're not working out as much as we're used to, it just doesn't quite need the same things. And so now is an incredible time to just educate yourself on your own nutrition, reading some of the best things that you can have before a workout, after a workout, that's going to really help. And I actually have an awesome handout for you guys. I'll make sure Coach Ken gets it after so we can send it out to all of you. But I worked with a sports nutritionist and a registered dietitian for a handout just for swimmers on pretty much the most frequently asked questions that we get about nutrition. And we put together just a front and back document about recovery, about before your performances, what you should be eating. So I'll make sure you guys all get a copy of that too, if you want kind of a bit of a place to start there. And then the last thing, you guys, is making sure that you're also taking this time to rest and to recover. I know that it can be a lot and it can be really heavy to have so many people telling you what you should be doing during this time, right? We're getting opinions from so many different people on here are the workouts you should be doing. Here's how many workouts you should be doing every single day. Work on your sleep, work on your nutrition. Like it's a lot to take in, you guys. And we also have to remember that we're in a global pandemic right now. This is not a productivity contest, okay? So yes, there are amazing things that we can get out of this time, and we can 100% be better coming out of this than we were when we came in. But also, it's a time to recover. We all know how hard we work. Swimmers get maybe a month off a year, if that. I got 2 weeks at the end of August, just about my entire swimming career. To have this much time off, we need to use it so that when it does come time to get back into the water, we are so energized, we are so excited, and we're like bursting at the seams to get back into the pool because we are so excited. And in terms of adaptability, that kind of brings me to my last point, you guys, that all the work that you put in before this happened, it will still be there, okay? I want you guys to think about your hard work like a bank. Every time you have a good practice, every time you just work yourself to the bone, you get out and your face is bright red. I was notorious for that. My face literally turned purple after every single main set, but it was the best feeling. Every time that happens, you guys, you're putting money in the bank. You're making a deposit. Okay. So even though during this time, we may not be putting money in the bank in the way that we're used to in terms of swim practice, you guys are still putting money in the bank by working on your dry land, by working on different kinds of cardio, by focusing on your nutrition and learning about different ways that you can continue to be better. And all of that money that was there from last season, the year before that, it will still be there, you guys. All right. So my wish for you is that when it does come time to get back in the water, early July rolls around, please, please, please do not get in the water and only be thinking about how long it's going to take until you're back to where you were. Okay. That is not fun. That is not an enjoyable thought to have every moment of every practice of when am I going to get back to how fast I was when this all started. I want you guys to get back in with literally the biggest, fattest smiles on your faces, because we've had something we've loved our whole lives taken away from us. And I definitely didn't think that was ever going to happen. I don't know if you guys did. Definitely not, with it being out of my control. And we haven't been able to do what we love. So when that comes back into your lives, you guys, be grateful for it, appreciate it, be excited, get into the water with your teammates, and just have fun and work hard, okay? Your coach is there to help you. He knows what he is doing. He's going to make sure that you are right where you need to be when you need to be there. So just do your part. Do what you can control, which is having fun and working hard. All right, you guys, no stress allowed when it comes time to get back into the water. That's my rule. And I'm going to check in with Coach Ken and make sure that no one's stressed when you guys get back in July. The second thing I want to talk about, you guys, is also how you can be a really good teammate during this time. So I will be very honest with you guys. I pride myself on being a really good teammate. And I think that's okay to say. I'm really proud of the teammate that I am. And it's one of the things that fulfills me the most is encouraging someone during a really hard set, cheering a teammate on when they're racing. Like all of that just fills my soul. Like it means so much to me knowing that I'm a small part of helping my teammates achieve their goals. Like that's a really cool thing to be a part of. And of course, now we're not doing that in the same way. We don't have meets where we can cheer them on. We don't have practices where we can, give them a nudge and tell them they've got it, that we're not actually going to die, that we're going to be okay. We just got to keep pushing hard. So I think the main thing to focus on right now, you guys, is two things. How can you continue to be there for each other, even when you're not maybe physically there? And how can you continue to hold each other accountable? These are two things that I think some of the best teammates I've ever had have done for me. Being there as a friend and not just a teammate. So checking in, and not just with the teammates that you normally talk to. You guys, I think this is a really beautiful time to branch out a little bit and maybe spend some time talking to, texting, calling, Zoom calling teammates that you're not as close with. Really reach out to different people on your team and just check in, see how they're doing, what is going really well for them right now, what is something that they're struggling with. Be an ear that they can talk to, be someone that can just listen and get it off your chest. And for you, also be honest about how you're feeling, really connect and just take that time to form that kind of understanding that you guys are there for each other, no matter what, whether it's in the pool, out of the pool. And if you feel that bond out of the pool as well, you guys, it's only going to feel so much better when you look up during practice or during a race and you see all of your best friends who happen to be your teammates also cheering you on. And the second part is holding each other accountable. This can be a little bit scary. I really struggled with this growing up because I think part of me associated, for whatever reason, holding my teammates accountable as almost being mean. And that is so not true, you guys. It's so not true. We, as teammates, have that responsibility to continue pushing each other to be the best that we can be. And I get asked all the time, how did you stay motivated? Like after all those years, after all that hard training, how did you stay motivated? And it wasn't always just me, you guys. There were so many days where I was not motivated, but my teammates looked at me and they motivated me. And they said, hey, listen, remember your goals. Remember what your dreams are. Remember why you're here today. And now let's go. Like, let's do this. Let's give it our all and then get out and be proud of our effort. So many days I had to rely on my teammates, you guys, for my motivation. And I worked even harder those days, knowing that they were watching and they were pushing me. So right now, being out of the water, holding each other accountable in terms of workouts outside of the water. Did you move your body today? Were you active? Did you do something that made you feel really good? Are you thinking about your nutrition? Are you watching races, whether they're your own or whether they're on YouTube and you're watching some of the best swimmers in the world? What are you doing to continue to be that better athlete? And really challenge each other, you guys. I think that was something that scared me was, in the middle of a set, if I knew one of my teammates could be trying harder and it was very evident that they were slacking off, I was always timid to kind of speak up and say, hey, you know what? Like, we can do this. Like, I know you have more in you. There's a very nice way to say that, you guys. There's also a very mean way to say that, which we're going to try and stay away from. Let's not look at our teammates and be like, you're being lazy. Come on, let's pick it up. But in a very loving, friendly, supportive way, just kind of giving them that nudge, like, hey, like, we can really dig deep here. Like, let's do this. And that's what we can do outside of the pool as well right now. On the good days and the bad days, first and foremost, letting your teammates know that you are there for them, that you are a support system, and then also holding them accountable for whatever it is they are trying to do right now. And that leads me into my third point that I want to talk to you guys about, which is goal setting. And I think this is such an amazing thing that we can be working on right now, because as athletes, the majority of our thoughts is in physical training, right? When we're swimming 2 to 4 hours a day, when we have dry land, we don't really have a whole lot of time to do much else, especially when we're also trying to do school and have some resemblance of a social life. So this is an unbelievable time to really turn inward and look at what your goals are. And so I'm going to kind of walk through a template, I would say, of how I set my goals throughout my career and how I still set them, and just how that's really helped me kind of have a tangible way to process what I'm doing and where I want to be going. And then we'll kind of get into a little bit of a bigger picture, but there are 3 types of goals. Your first one is your outcome goal. All right. So this is like your goal of all goals, like absolute dream goal. My dream goal was to be an Olympic gold medalist. Your dream goal could be to swim in college. It could be to make a certain meet. Whatever it is your dream goal. It should scare you. All right. If your dream goal doesn't actually make you question whether or not you can do it, it's not big enough. All right. So make a big one. Make one that seems scary and really makes you question whether or not you're actually going to be able to achieve it. That is your outcome goal. The second type of goal is a performance goal. And that's probably what a lot of us are used to. These are kind of like your end of season goals. So whether it's making a meet at the end of the season, going a certain time at the end of the season, anything like that, maybe breaking a minute in your 100 backstroke, that is a performance goal. And then underneath that, and these are the most important goals, are your process goals. All right. So your process goals are your everyday goals. So things that you can be doing every single day that are going to help you get to your performance goals. And when you're hitting your performance goals consistently, you're getting closer to hitting your outcome goal. All right. So when it comes time to get back in the water, process goals when it comes to practice can be things like, for me, I was always terrible at underwaters, you guys, so bad, always. All right. So my process goals were always, all right, when we do backstroke sets in practice, I need to be hitting at least 6 dolphin kicks off every single wall. If you're a freestyler, maybe it's not breathing in and out of your walls. Whatever it is, you and your coach know best the things that you need to be working on day in and day out to really help and see that improvement in your races. Those are your process goals. They can change every day. They're whatever it is that you make them. And the best things about process goals, you guys, are it makes you feel like you're achieving something every single day. All right. So another question I get asked all the time is about plateaus. You know, what do you do when you're training so hard, you're giving so much of your effort, and you're just not seeing the results? And that's happening for month after month after month. That's really frustrating, you guys. I have been there. We have all been there. If you haven't, I hate to break it to you, but it's probably going to happen to you at some point. And that is where process goals come in so handy, you guys, is if you haven't been performing well at meets, you're super frustrated, you go into practice, but you just set a process goal of, all right, today I'm going to do 6 dolphin kicks off every single wall. No matter how that practice goes, whether you hit your times or you don't, whether you feel good or you don't, if you get out of practice knowing you achieved a goal that you set for yourself that day, that is confidence. That is confidence that is going to carry you forward and help you realize that you are still getting better. Even if your times aren't showing it right now, that is money in the bank, like we were talking about. And when it does come time to make a withdrawal, you will just be overflowing. All right. Like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, when he goes to Gringotts for the first time and opens it up, it's all the gold. That's what it's going to be like. All right. Huge Harry Potter nerd. I've been watching all of them every single day. It's really bad. I've also been rereading the books. Side note. All right. So those are your 3 goals, you guys. So I really want you to write those down. Okay. So your process goals, the little things every single day. And right now, those are going to look a little bit different, right? But maybe it is, I'm going to go to bed at 9 o'clock and wake up before 7. I'm going to maybe pick out a really healthy meal that I want to cook with my family. And I'm going to cook with my mom or my dad or my siblings and do some research on nutrition. Maybe I'm going to reach out to a couple of teammates like that. Those are all process goals, you guys. And then think about your performance goals for the next couple of seasons. You know, what does that look like? What do you want to achieve when it does come time to get back in the water by the end of the season? And then that outcome goal, which is the really kind of fun goal that you get to strive towards. And before I finish off, you guys, the other thing I want to mention about goals is that they are not just for swimming. All right. That's where I want you to start. You know, write down all of your swimming goals, but goals are so much bigger than that. Okay. Your goals should reflect every single area of your life. So after you guys have finished writing out your swimming goals, I want you to write down goals for being a better teammate. How can you be a better teammate? How can you be a better athlete? How can you be more coachable? Maybe one of those things is thanking your coach and shaking their hand every single day after practice. Or I guess after this, it'll be like elbows and air fives. But maybe that's it, giving Coach Ken an air five every single day after practice. And then school. What are your goals for school? Maybe it's getting a certain GPA. Maybe it's earning a certain score on an ACT or an SAT. Like whatever it is, getting a really good grade in a class where the teacher is really mean and you don't like it. Those are all goals for school. And then family. You guys, what can you do to be a better son, a better daughter, a better brother, a better sister? Goals are there to help us continually be the best versions of ourselves. We never want to be settled with exactly who we are in this moment. There are always ways that we can be better. Okay. So that doesn't just apply to swimming. It applies to everywhere, because I want you guys to be the best swimmers you can ever be. But more than that, this is my dog, Ollie, Bubby. Hi. He just had surgery, so he's hanging out close. But I want you guys to be the best people that you can be. All right. I care about that more than anything else. So after you finish setting all of your swimming goals, go back through and really think about what other goals you can set for every single area of your life. All right. So I think that's about everything I have to say. I know you guys are probably tired of just hearing me ramble it on, so we can get into some Q&A. And I wish you guys could all have some Ollie cuddles right now, because they're the absolute best. Ken, how do you want to do the Q&A? Do you want them to write it in the chat box, or just we can like raise hands and they can unmute themselves? Sorry, I'm talking about all of you like you're not here.
That's all right. Yeah, no, we could do it definitely both ways. I know Coach Todd is on here, and he has got a few questions from some people just to get us started. And then I know there's definitely some people out there that said they want to definitely ask you a question. So we'll start with Coach Todd and his questions.
Perfect. Sounds awesome.
All right. So I've got 3 here. The first one, how did you mentally overcome a serious setback?
So good. All right. So this is actually easier than it sounds. You really want to be in here, don't you? You just want to hang out right there? Thank you. All right. Well, you have a big dog that you kiss, and then you can overcome anything you want in your entire life. No. So there are 2 things that you do to overcome a really hard time, whether that's a setback, whether it's a disappointing season, a disappointing meet, a disappointing race. Number 1, you learn from it. Really take the time to analyze what went wrong. Why was it disappointing? Why was it a setback? What happened that made that the case? And then take something away from that. All right, this didn't go wrong, or this went wrong, so this is how I can work on that in the future. I can actually do these things to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And then the second thing, you guys, is you let it go. Okay, there is nothing we can do about a bad race or a bad meet or a bad season after it's over. I know so badly we wish that we could, but we can't. The one thing we can do is learn from it so we don't make those same mistakes. And that's one of my favorite sayings, you guys, is the only mistake that you can ever make is the one that you make twice. If we're learning from the things that are setting us back, and we're growing and we're doing more, then we're going to be better off because of it. And then they weren't ever actually mistakes to begin with, because they're making us better.
Perfect. All right. Second question, what are some things you've done throughout your career to stay motivated on days and weeks you weren't really feeling it?
Yeah. So as I was talking about before, I leaned very heavily into my teammates and into my support system. I was very honest on the days where I came in, and I would ask for help. And I think that's huge, you guys. Asking for help is not by any means a sign of weakness. It is actually the total opposite. It is showing that you have the courage and that you know yourself well enough to reach out and get a little help. And I would walk into practice and I would grab one of my teammates and I would say, hey, you know what? Not quite feeling it today. It was really hard to get to practice. I'm going to need a little extra motivation. Can you help me? And then all throughout that practice, I would have that teammate in my ear going, hey, you've got it. You can do this. Let's get it. And that was all I needed, like just that extra little bit to really push me and to keep me going. But you have to ask for help on those days, you guys. And then I think the other thing too is going back to your goals. That's why we write them, right? That's why we have them. Is so the days where we feel discouraged, the days where we feel unmotivated, we look back and go, hey, I want to be an Olympic gold medalist. I think that's going to be worth it. That's why I'm doing this every single day. That's why I am working so hard. This is worth it. This sacrifice is going to get me one step closer to where I want to be. And when I get there one day, because I believe fully in my heart that I will, then I'm going to look back and be so proud of these days. So relying on your teammates, relying on your support system, asking for that help when you need it, and then going back to your goals, you guys. I also think it's important to have those visible so you see them every day. So maybe you write them on your kickboard. So during kick sets, you actually look down and your goals are literally staring at you right in the face. Maybe you put them on your bathroom mirror. Maybe you have a sticky note in your locker. Whatever it is, have those goals there so that every day, those days that you're like, oh my gosh, last thing I want to do is be wet for another 2 hours. You just look at your goals and be like, okay, no, I've got it. I can do this.
And the final question that was sent to me, what is a good method of breaking bad habits you might have with your strokes?
That is a great question. You're going to hate my answer. But breaking a bad habit is essentially the same thing as creating a new one. It takes 21 days. And that there's actually like scientific proof that that's how long it takes to actually create a good habit. And it takes the same amount of time to break a bad one. So it's not fun. I wish the answer were easier, but it's not. It's repetition. You guys, you have to just keep doing it. You have to keep focusing on it. So yep, if you're breathing off your turns, and you should not be breathing off your turns, every single turn in practice, you need to not be breathing off your turns. It's not fun. It's hard to break a bad habit, but that's what you need to do. Not just occasionally, not just during the main set, but every single time you do something that's a bad habit, stopping it. And I promise you will be amazed at, yes, the first couple of days are going to be so tough, but a few days after that, it's going to be easier. A few days after that, it's going to get easier. And that's the best part about breaking a bad habit, is it only gets easier to break as you're breaking it, until you get to the point where you're not breathing off your walls and you're not even thinking about it anymore, because you've now made that bad habit into a good one. And it wouldn't be, it's hard, because if it was easy, everyone would be able to do it and no one would have bad habits, but we all have them. And it honestly, again, I think that's a really good life lesson as well. You know, breaking in bad habits of cramming before a test, or, you know, not procrastinating schoolwork, whatever it is, the more you're able to really work on that and intentionally put energy towards breaking that habit, the easier it's going to be to stop, until eventually you're not doing it at all anymore. Those were great questions, you guys.
All right. Well, let's just open it up to everyone on here. Just feel free to unmute yourself and ask Missy a question.
Literally anything, you guys. I'm such an open book, and I'm here for you. So seriously, whatever.
Hi, Missy.
Hi.
Well, I just finished my collegiate career, and
Congratulations.
fortunately, in an unfortunate circumstance, and I was just wondering how you dealt with retirement, or like how you knew when it was time to retire.
Yeah, so it's such a good question. It's a very hard transition. I will be very honest with you, but I think for me, I truly felt a calling, and I felt like my voice and my talents for the first time could be used better in other places than the pool. And I think that was something I really had to lean into, was that for such a majority of my life, I felt called to inspire by being in a pool, by racing, by going out there and just being myself and being a good sports person. And finally getting to that point where I had to retire due to injury. So it's a little bit different, but at the same time, also recognizing that I think I can do really powerful, good things away from the pool as well. And so wherever you are in that journey, really recognizing everything you have to offer the world. And if you still think that your biggest impact you can make is in the water, then heck yeah, go for it. And if you think the biggest impact you can make is outside of the water, then heck yeah, go for it. Your path is your path, and everyone is so different in that.
Thank you.
Of course. Don't be shy, you guys.
What was it like racing at those like big meets like the Olympics and stuff like that? What was it like to be there in that atmosphere?
It was amazing. It was a little overwhelming, but I will tell you, this is what every single veteran tells all the rookies at every big meet. And it's a little bit of a letdown, but it's very true. They kind of sit all of us down and they're like, hey, you want to know what the Olympics are? And all of us are like, oh, it's like a big secret. Like they're going to tell us something cool. And we're like, yeah, what is it? They're like, it's just another swim meet. We're like, oh, cool. All right. Yep. But it is, you guys, every big meet, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's Worlds or Pan Pacs or a big meet that you personally have been trying so hard to get to, it's just another swim meet. The 200 back at the Olympic Games is the same 200 back at junior nationals. There is nothing different about it. It is the same length. It is the same flag distance. It is the same race you have swum a million times. So that is something that they tell us, I think, to really calm everyone down and kind of help them understand that there's going to be a lot going on. You know, we talk about uncontrollables, and right now it's kind of the environment of the world, right? Well, when you get to a big meet, your uncontrollables are the environment of the meet, right? There's so much that you can't control. You know, the dining hall may have food that you don't like. The bus schedule may be running late. You have, you know, hundreds of thousands of spectators watching you, which is so different than what you're used to. And all of that can get to be really overwhelming. But ultimately, you know what else you have? A 50-meter pool. The same 50-meter pool that we train in, that we race in, and that is all that matters. So I think that's a really good lesson too for that. If you guys ever do get to a bigger meet or the biggest meet you've ever been to and feel like you either don't deserve to be there or feel inadequate because you haven't been there before, guys, so not true. Every meet is going to be different for every person. You have made your way there. You deserve to be there. And don't feel overwhelmed because it's just another swim meet. It is all the races you have swum so many times before and are probably going to swim so many times again. What else we got? Don't make me come through the screen.
Hi, Missy.
Hi.
I have a question. So how did you deal with like having a bad race and then turning around and then like you have another event and like having your focus on that one?
Yeah. So such a good question, Sarah. So I think kind of what I was talking about earlier in terms of the two things you can do are learning from it and then moving on. The way I would tweak that in this specific scenario where it's back to back is just let it go. At that point, that is all you can do. After your races are over for that session, then you can look back and kind of really analyze what went wrong and learn from it. But when you have races that are 20, 30 minutes, an hour apart, and your first race really doesn't go well, it is entirely up to you whether or not that second race is going to go well or not either, because it is so easy to take that first race and get so discouraged by it and just go, oh, I'm off. It's a bad session. It's a bad meet, and just kind of give up and just give up on that second event. Like, all right, if the first one wasn't good, then the second one isn't going to be either. And if you do that, then you're just kicking yourself in the shin because there's no way that second race is going to be good. But if you can take that first race and say, all right, there's nothing I can do about it. It happened. I did my best. It didn't go the way that I wanted. But hey, look at this. I have another opportunity right now to turn this around. I have another opportunity in 30 minutes to get back up on the block with a smile on my face and race my heart out. when you do that, you're setting yourself up for success. And I think another really quick thing to mention there too, you guys, especially when we're talking a lot about team, is however your races are going, if you, particularly when they're bad, if you have a really bad race, don't bring that energy back to the team area. Some of you might be this person, or some of you have seen this person, where you guys know that the cap and goggle throwers, right? Where you get back after a bad race and someone's just super frustrated and they get back to the team area and they kind of throw their stuff down. And literally everyone else just kind of goes quiet. Like you can feel the atmosphere change of people being like, oh gosh, like, and what do you think that does for your teammates? Nothing. If anything, it puts them in a worse spot, because then they're worried that they may not have the swims they want either. So if you do ever have those disappointing swims, absolutely be disappointed, be upset. We work so hard, and that can be one of our greatest motivators. But maybe just go over to the warm down pool, take some time, kind of feel your emotions, let them happen. And then when you're feeling a little bit better, that's when it's time to go back to the team area and be like, all right, and then start encouraging your other teammates. Because I've also found that that's one of the best ways to kind of get me back in the right mindset, is when I'm encouraging my teammates to go out there and kick butt. And then I'm like, hey, I can do that too. It's an awesome question, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do, 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 do. I'm going to keep singing off tune until someone talks.
Hi, Missy.
Hi, Jessie.
How do you move forward from an injury or illness that kind of set you back a lot?
Oh, is that Jessie or Jenna? Who is that? Jenna?
Jenna,
Oh,
yeah.
Jenna. Sorry, I thought I said okay. Overcoming an injury. Oh, I could talk on this for like 8 hours. I won't, I promise. But I think what really helped me get through was just taking it one day at a time. I think as swimmers, we're so conditioned to push ourselves so hard. And I found that as long as I was moving forward, that was what I was focused on. So instead of pushing myself too much and trying to move 5 steps forward in one day and then have to take 4 steps back the next, because I pushed myself so hard and was just in more pain and then had to take it easy, it was about easing back into it. So even if that meant taking 1 step forward a day and then another step after that, when I kind of had a little bit more control over, all right, yes, I feel good today, but I'm not going to push it more than what I know I'm capable of doing, even though I want to so bad, because that might just come and hurt me again tomorrow. So taking it one day at a time, really, really, really listening to your body. You know your body better than anyone. Okay. So for you to really be able to get in the pool and be like, okay, I can do this today. I can't do this. And then doing everything you need to outside of the pool. I know it's so hard to do PT exercises and things like that. You know, we're still working out. We're still exhausted. The last thing we want to do is get home and do 30 minutes of band work like before dinner. It's not the most fun thing ever, but you have to do it. Like doing what your physical therapist, whoever you're working with, whatever they're telling you, to really stick with that routine as much as possible. I promise that will help in the long run. There's a reason why they're asking you to do it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course, absolutely.
Before a race, I know you said like even at a huge meet, it's just another swim meet like we've done thousands of times. But like behind the blocks, do you have something that you say to yourself that kind of helps calm you down and kind of build your confidence in knowing that you've practiced this and you've earned your spot to be where you are?
Yeah, such a great question. So a couple points on this. I think the first one is I actually keep a confidence jar. I know that's not very manly. So for all my gentlemen on the call, maybe a journal if you would so prefer, like a manly man book. But what I do is anytime I have a really good practice or a really good meet, or I just worked really hard one day, or I focused on my nutrition really well, I write it down. I literally put my pen to paper. I say, all right, this was the set we did. I did awesome. I killed it. Here were my times. And I really just brag on yourself on these pieces of paper or in your journal. And then I put mine in my jar. And I would do that all throughout the season. And if I knew my teammates were doing that too, I would write some down for them, and I would have them put it in their jar. And then the night before the biggest meet of the season, we take out our jars and we dump them out, and we have literally a season's worth of confidence sitting right in front of us. And we go through every single note of practices that we would have never remembered if we hadn't written them down. It's like, oh my gosh, look at what I did 3 months ago. Look at what I did 2 weeks ago. Look at what I did 6 months ago. And you literally go into that meet feeling like you could take on the world, because you're reminded of all of the amazing things that you did that season. And I think that's the best way to feel behind a block, right? Is knowing that you are as prepared as you can possibly be. That is when all my best races happened, was when I stood behind a block and said, there was nothing else I could have done to be more prepared than right now. So whatever happens is going to happen. I'm going to do my best. And that's all I could ask for. And in terms of a phrase, the one that I started using in London that I used for the majority after that, the rest of my career, was pain is temporary and glory is forever. And I think it's funny because I know that a lot of us still get really scared about how much races are going to hurt, which I find hysterical, because like, we know it's going to hurt. Like it's like it is going to be painful. Like that's what we signed up for. If it doesn't hurt, we're not doing it right. So instead of worrying about how much it's going to hurt, just accept it. Be like, all right, yeah, it's going to hurt. I'm going to survive. And I might even get a best time out of it. Like, who knows? So just accepting that kind of fear of like, yeah, okay, it's going to hurt, but I'm going to go out there. I still love what I do, even though it hurts me. We're all kind of a little bit sick like that, but it's the best feeling ever. So when I put my hand to the wall and I know that I gave everything I had, and you guys all know this, when you turn around and you see a best time, what happens to that pain? It is gone in a second. It's like it wasn't even there. So kind of just being in that moment behind the blocks and knowing like, yep, it's going to hurt, but I'm going to go race my heart out and it's going to be a blast.
Thank you.
Of course. Doing any other ones?
Yeah, any last questions, guys?
It can be about anything. Literally my favorite ice cream, something about my dog, whatever you want.
Do you have anything lucky you do before a race?
Oh, I love that. I have 2 weird superstitions. One of them, guys, I have no idea where this came from. I love baseball hats. Love them. I wear them all the time. I think I read somewhere when I was like 13 that it's unlucky to leave a baseball hat on your bed. Like, what? That makes literally no sense. But to this day, I do not let my baseball hats touch my bed. Like, I just don't. So if we were ever at a hotel or anything, I would never, ever, ever leave my baseball hat on the bed. And then the other one is lucky hair ties. So if I was swimming really well at a meet with a hair tie, I would keep that thing in until it was nothing but a rubber band. If I had a bad race, I would throw that hair tie out as quick as possible and get another one. But I think those are my only 2. They're both really weird. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Of course. That it?
One last one, no?
Do you have another book possibly coming in the future?
I want to so bad. That's such a good question. I really hope so. It's something that isn't formally in the works, but it is one of my outcome goals for sure. I would love to really write my own book, because the first one, writing with my parents, was so much fun. But I think I have a lot more to say. So I think I'd like to do another one.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up unless anybody's got one last question.
No.
No? Well, we are all big fans and really appreciate your time.
Of course.
Yeah, we are. This is a silver lining to everything that we've got going on, and I look forward to seeing everybody back at the pool in a couple weeks. We're going to be working on schedules and all of that the next week, and then actually get back in the water. So
Whoop, whoop.
we can't wait.
So excited to remember you guys when you get back in. Just smile and have fun. All right,
Yep.
That's what it's all about. You guys have been so much fun to talk to. Literally, your smiling faces throughout all of this have been such a joy. So you guys are my silver lining. So thank you so much. And I'll be cheering for all of you whenever I get to see you at meets or anything like that. And thank you so much, Coach Ken.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks to Speedo for having you. So we appreciate it. We'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
So welcome. So welcome.
It was great to meet you over call.
Coach Ken, will we have dry land at practices?